Hello, Naval right here for our weekly QA call. If you're on via Hangout and can't join the call, please put some text in the chat room. If you can't join the call, feel free to join the call. I'm taking questions either verbally or in the chat room. Hey, everybody, I'm here waiting. Great to see that you're joining. You can answer questions two ways. You can either send me questions in the chat room, or you can join the conference call. Either way that works for you guys. Guys, I'm here waiting, eager to take any of your questions. Like I said, you can either enter your questions in the Q&A box, chat box, or hop on the conference call. But this whole hour is for me to answer questions specific about the course, things you learn in the course, about your business. So ready to go whenever you are.
Hello?
Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm sorry. I have my toddler here, and I didn't realize that I was going to be in a webinar where people could see me. So
No, they weren't. So I only added you because I wanted to see if you were seeing the chat room.
okay.
I was saying you could enter your questions in the chat, or you could join the conference call line I sent. I only added you to make sure you were seeing everything okay.
Oh, okay. Because, yeah, no, I wasn't seeing any of this stuff. I saw like a box that I submitted a question, but I don't even know if you received it or not.
Interesting. Oh, yes, I did get it. I have it now. It just came through.
Okay.
So, no, you don't have to be seen. I can.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's early, and yeah.
No problem. No problem. So, yeah, I wanted to make sure that, I saw that you guys were there, so I wanted to make sure I got it. But here, let me answer your question. I've been purchasing domain names for a while, and I typically use GoDaddy. I watched a tutorial on Google Domains. Which would you say works better as a domain name and hosting provider? So great question. So I buy domains a lot on GoDaddy as well. One of the reasons why I started showing people Google Domains is in a lot of if they're not looking to also host, it's a little easier than because later in the course we're going to talk about launching a Shopify site. And things of that nature. And I found that Google Domains makes that process easier.
Okay.
But yeah, GoDaddy's fine. I mean, in a lot of these cases, I try to find the products and processes that make it easier for you to jump into getting the task done. But yeah, you're totally open and available to use any any of the products that you feel comfortable with.
Okay.
All right, so let me answer another question that somebody sent me. And let me ask you a question. A couple people have sent back. Is midday better or is the evening better?
For me, it kind of well, this is a little bit early. It's 9 o'clock here. I'm in California.
Yeah. So I tried to pick that's what I'm trying to figure out, because we do have a few people on the West Coast.
Yeah, but I'm a stay-at-home mom right now, so it's kind of, I just need to know like what time so I can get on.
No, great. So I think what I'm going to do, a couple of people asked me, is for next week. I'm going to send it out when we're done here. I'm going to do one in the evening and see if that helps a little bit. And I'll be I'll be cognizant of the fact that there's some people on the West Coast that we deal with. So somebody sent another question in. How do business strategies from the Level 1 workshop work for a coaching consultation business, i.e. direct marketing for customers? How would a search of interested persons be found? So let me answer the first question first. How do business strategies from a Level 1 workshop work for a coaching consultation business? So the strategies you guys are learning in the Level 1 literally are business agnostic, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you're selling a coaching or consultation business, that's your product. Creating a landing page, getting a domain that lets people know what your business is about, and going out and looking at other companies that are doing what you're doing. And I'm just going over everything that's been talked about in Module 1. It applies to that. Nothing is different. Your product is your consultation and your time. And I actually think because you're selling, what I'll call soft skills, you definitely want to look out and see how other people are doing it. I can tell you from my own experience, people are doing it similar to the ways that I'm doing with this class, right? As opposed to charging an hourly rate for services, they sit down and they figure out, hey, what's the best practices or information that I can offer in a specific area, and how can I package that for scale? I mean, at the end of the day, if you use me, for example, if all the people signed up for this class wanted to work with me individually, it would be more expensive for them, and then also it would take a lot more time to do that. So when you're in a consultation business, you can definitely figure out a way to productize that, right? But and I also believe in a hybrid business. I think if you do productize it, what you'll find is you'll actually increase your client lead base for people who want to do one-on-one with you. So if you're giving out great information, if they're seeing these products and they're interacting with you online and seeing that you have an authority of value, they're going to want to eventually pay for you to do that as well. All right. So literally no one else has sent in questions. So
I have questions.
Go ahead, please. Eat up the time.
Yeah, so I'm an author. I write books, I self-publish, I also send books out to publishers, and that is what it is. But how do I turn basically my work, my writing, into a business that is that makes enough money for me to just do that?
So you've self-published. How many books have you self-published already?
I think around 8, between 8 and 10.
And are they all in the same subject matter or various subject matters?
Various subject matters. Mostly I stick with poetry, short stories, sci-fi, fantasy, that kind of thing.
So there's a couple ways. So one is, let me ask a different question. How have you been marketing those self-published books so far?
I've been on sabbatical because I've had some family crisis, so my marketing has kind of slowed down. But what I used to do, I'm in this website called Triber, which is really good, by the way. And you get involved with other people's tribes, and you utilize each other's social media accounts. So when I post something on my blog on WordPress, I use WordPress. It immediately uploads to Triber and then gets sent out on all of the people in my tribes. And I belong to about 6 or 7, maybe 8 tribes. Everybody in those tribes tweets out that I posted on my blog.
Is this what I have on screen now? Is this Triber?
No, it's Triberr.
All right.
In addition to that, I network with a lot of other self-published authors on Facebook, on Google+. I do a lot of interviews with other authors. It's sort of like a basic give and take. So if I do interviews with other authors and have them on my blog, they bring in their network of readers. And they do the same for me. You know, they'll interview me, put me on their blog. I'm in a bunch of book groups on Facebook. So we assist each other in market. It's kind of like a small family. But, you know, once again, I've been absent for a while due to some family issues. So my marketing has kind of slowed down. And then at the same time, marketing takes away from writing. And I need to, you know, because writing is my product. So I need to write in order to have something to market. So it's kind of hard to balance the two.
No, it makes sense. But here's, and did I get this right? Is this it? Tirberr?
Yes, that's it.
All right. So a couple things I want to kind of touch them off. So the first one is, while this is great, your growth is only limited to the size of the audiences of the other authors on here, right?
Yeah.
And playing devil's advocate, if authors on here had really huge followings, they'd be somewhere focusing on those followings and not here. So my assumption is everybody here is kind of on the same level, and it's kind of like, okay, I'll promote you, you promote me, right? And to your point, you've seen some success. I think what you're going to want to do is, you already have some existing product. You already have some existing product, but you're not getting it in front of the right people. So what you're going to see in a couple lessons in level 1 is how we talk about using targeted advertising to put this in front of people. You have a crowd problem, right? You already have the product. You just have to get it in front of more people. So you want to get it in front of people who like sci-fi, who like the type of things you're talking about, and get it in front of enough critical mass to do that, right? So to me, that's level 1 for you. Is just, you know, while these are, to your point, this is great, but it's labor intensive to the point that when you're not on it, it doesn't help you. But in the flip side is if you set up advertising the right way, you're constantly generating leads while you're off doing other stuff. And especially if you have existing products, first and foremost, we just want to get those in front of as many people and see if you can increase sales on those. And you can actually use that data to determine what you should write next. That's level 1. The second level is, I got to believe that in a lot of cases, there's other people out there who are like you, who had an interest in the genre, who would love to self-publish but don't know how. So you can also take those learnings and offer that as a course just like this to help other people know what it takes to self-publish a book in that genre.
Okay.
So if you think about that, right, if you have, so if we create, and they're called marketing funnels, if we create a funnel where your books are constantly getting put in front of these large social audiences who have an interest in social media. I mean, we're talking, you know, like I said in the workshop, billions of people. If you can get a small percentage of them to get at your product and buy your product incrementally, that's a decent business, right? And to your point, it does it in a way where you can continue to grow. And also you can get really smart if you really want to take it to another level is, I don't know if your books are serialized in terms of there's part 1s, part 2s. So you can literally, once you start getting an audience to engage in your book and create community around it, they can almost help you know what direction to take the characters and stories that they'd be ready and willing to buy, right? So if you start thinking about it that way, that look, I want to put this in front of people, A, to sell it, but B, to get the information to help me in some ways create the best stories possible. I mean that's a real business. And then it's all about making sure they're in the right distribution channels. If it's an ebook, you can literally sell it you know, and I think we're in module 3, at the beginning of module 2, into module 2, we'll start talking about Shopify. In module 3, we're going to go into it in depth. But literally on Shopify, you can sell a downloaded ebook. You can sell it on Gumroad. There's a bunch of different products you can use. But at the same time, you can upload it on Amazon and direct people there as well, all through the same social media paid advertising. So that, for me, for your strategy, that's what would be it, is how do I brand? Because the beauty is you've put the work in. You have product, and it's not like one book. So you can brand yourself as having this collection of books. You can play around, experiment with different packages of books together, and just see what people bite on.
Okay.
So there's no other questions. So you got the floor. So this is like getting a free consultant hour with me. So take it.
Oh, this is awesome. Okay, so when I first watched your first live conference that you had, the one that was like an hour or something. No, it was like 2 hours. So you touched on a lot of different subjects there, and I tried to take notes because it was like really meaty. And there were some things you said about just, you know, creating several sources of income. So how would I apply that? Because I have like all the time in the world right now. So how would I apply that to this? Like, how would I parcel out my time to, you know, address the writing, address the marketing, and create additional sources of income?
So literally, and since you've purchased a course, you get unlimited access to that. So I'm glad you reminded me. I'll just send you a link to that so you can watch it again.
Okay.
The process that I'm teaching you will apply, and once you kind of go through all of level 1 and see it, it can apply to almost any business. It kind of goes back to the question that the other woman, Lisa, asked via email, that it can apply to any business. So, for example, if you, we already talked about your book business, but if you sat around and said, hey, you know, are there products that I always use, or are there different things that I like to do, to your point, in my spare time that other people might have interest in? You know, you literally will use the same process to test out how do you productize those and sell those, right? And I'm a big believer in it's either physical product and service, or it's showing other people to do what you need to do. Like, you'd be surprised. Like, let's use the fact that you, like you said, you're an at-home mom right now. If you go and search on Facebook and search for other at-home mom groups and businesses and see what people are talking about, you might say, hey, there's something I can do that, you know, how do I balance my time during the day? Like, you putting that down in video and walking people through those steps, there's someone out there who's struggling with how to manage their time, you know. So even like going through the process builds a skill that's monetizable. But when I say 7 forms of income, I'm saying basically, if you have multiple ideas, there's no reason why you can't have those going on at the same time. Like, I mean, you know, you could have 4 different e-commerce stores in different niches selling product. And, you know, when we talk about Shopify, we're going to talk about drop shipping, which basically you can tie into a service that gives you the product. Or let's say one of the bonuses I'm going to give you guys is how to create a t-shirt store that, using Shopify, let's say there's like phrases that moms say, right? You can create a store and use the same tactics and market that to somebody. And if enough people buy those, that's incremental income, right? So it's just about sitting down and thinking about what are all the different things you can do. And if you remember from the seminar, I also showed people how they could make money with their time and talents, whether it was being an Uber driver, being a TaskRabbit, going on Fiverr, and seeing if there's a skill or something somebody will pay you $5 an hour for. So when I say that, it's like there's leveraging all these different services and platforms to bring incremental money. Because look, if you're a millionaire, nobody's going to say, hey, you're not a real millionaire because you didn't make it from one job. You're a millionaire. So if one source is giving you 20 grand, another source is giving you 80 grand, another source is giving you 200 grand, it doesn't matter. And all that matters is that the total coming together brings you into value. I mean, another way is if you, let's say as you start to look at these goods and services, there's one you like and you get good at. I mean, they have affiliate programs. So as you build this, let's say you're using a certain software that help you create your ebooks, and it's really good, and et cetera. As you build your audience, I always look and say, do they have an affiliate program? Because if I'm telling someone about it and they click on the link, I can get incremental revenue. If your audience gets big enough, I know people who make 6 or 7 figures just off promoting affiliates. So like there's all these different options. So when I say that, it's trying to get people to look at everything as a business opportunity. Stuff that's like, you know, like if you look around and the stuff you do in a given day, you're going to start to think, hey, wow, that there's probably a business there, right? I mean, and I'm not talking huge numbers. I mean, I tell people, if you can get 1,000 people to pay you $50, that's $50,000, right? And if you look at the number of people that I'm seeing on these platforms, that's not an unobtainable goal.
Okay. I think my biggest issue right now is just sort of because there's so much information, and and so much that is like, you know, out there, and so many steps to take, that is focusing on which step to take at a time. Do I split my time between marketing the product and actually making the product? Do I split my time between learning more about marketing? It's kind of like, you know, that kind of dilemma that I have right now.
Yeah. So I think the way that I would do it is, you can't market a product if you don't have a great place to send them to.
Okay.
So first and foremost, and if you look at kind of how I go through the steps in this course, it's really based on that. Like first and foremost, you know, the moment you have an idea and the moment you want to put it in front of other people, you need to at least have a place to send them to validate that you're actually serious or authentic about that idea, which is why I show the concept of building these landing pages, right, and buying domains. So let's say you hang out with me and you go out and you're like, hey, I can sell, I don't know, baby fasteners that do X, Y, and Z because it helps me get through the day, right? Do you build that landing page where you articulate that product, and then when you start telling people, and if they go there, they've at least indicated to you that they have some interest in learning more. And what you're going to learn when we go through the Facebook stuff is that once you track that, you can start building that relationship. And again, like I said, a lot of these things, once you set them up, they can be doing that. The hardest part is sitting down and coming up with the plan.
Yeah.
But once you start putting those things in place, they can be operating on your own while you're working on different aspects of it. And then it just comes down to time management, but also and to a certain degree of focus. So when I say you can have 7 sources of income, I'm not saying you should try and do all 7 at the same time. What I'm saying is, if you go, like, if we just stick with your books, if you go through this process with your books, you will understand all the steps that you need to do it with other things. So that when you rinse and repeat for another idea, you'll kind of already understand the steps that you need to do. But I think it's a great question, because some people will try to, and when I say, like, I put an article in the Facebook group yesterday about the top part-time jobs that offer benefits. So I put that in there because there might be somebody who's like, the only reason I'm working full-time is because I need benefits. I really want to build this business. So I'm like, oh, well, go get a job at Starbucks, get benefits, but you get all that other time back to grow your business, right? So there's really no set roadmap or playbook. It's really about how creative can you be. I'm all about just moving forward, right? So, and it's the reason why, you know, for this course, for level 2, I may do a little different, but for level 1, I don't release all the courses at the same time, because what people will do is jump to the end. And they were like, well, I want to see what the end game looks like. But if they're all evolutionary, if you don't do steps in step 1, module 3 and module 4 can't help you. So that's what I would say for you is, if you have 3 or 4 of those things, get those things in place. And if you, like I said, even if for some people who already have it, reevaluate that. Like, I'm a big believer that if I look at the stuff you put out, I shouldn't be able to tell that you're a at-home mom with your kid versus in a room with 50 people. And the beauty is that these tools I'm showing you allow you to do that if you put the time in, right? Okay. That's my big thing.
I had another question, because I was looking at the Entre pages, and I was trying to fit, because like I said, I have a blog, and I'm trying to figure out, like, not what's the difference, because visually they are very different, but just in terms of having a presence on the web, what is the difference between having a blog and having something like EntrePages?
Yep. So great question. So, so the reason why I show people landing pages is because most people who don't have any get so caught up in the idea of building a website that they don't do anything.
Okay.
The answer to your second question is that even if you have, so I'll use an analogy, like even if you, like, let's use Macy's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though Macy's has a full-blown site, and a lot of times you'll click on a link on the internet or from Google, and it'll take you to a specific page that's about a specific offer. What landing pages allow you to do is highlight specific offers without getting people, because if you're pushing an offer, you want people to only focus on that offer. So if you create it as a page on your website with the navigation and this, that, and the other, they're going to go away from that offer.
I see.
Now for you, you know, and we go from EntrePages to EntrePort in level 2. For you, if you look on the upgrade, you can upgrade to the paid version of EntrePages, and it gives you a WordPress plugin. So for a great example, the pages I sent out to promote my workshop and the pages I sent out to talk about the class, those are coming through EntrePages, but I use the WordPress plugin so that they have a URL off of my Close the Divide URL.
Okay.
So literally what it lets you do is, to your point, you still have the blog, and you've built the brand name up on that blog, but then I can send out these one-off offers. And then here's the other thing with landing pages, because they're one-off offers and they're not on your navigation. Once you start segmenting your audience, you can send them different offers.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you have one landing page where you're like, you know, you're selling it as a bundle, and you have one landing page that you just want to sell like maybe one of your books has a female lead character, and you're like, you're going to send this to all the women who you've targeted in an ad. Like, that's where they allow you that flexibility. And I can tell you that every online business uses them for that purpose. So it's not necessarily either or, it's about where you are. Like if you don't have anything, then it's easier to create a landing page to let somebody go there, give you their information, and let you know they're interested, or go there and sign up for your webinar, than it is for you to go out and build a WordPress site. And you know that because you built one, right?
Well, I mean, but I've been doing like web building since I was
right. So you have a fuller understanding of it, but you'd be surprised. So my goal is that like even if they're not you, they can get started. And if you looked at EntrePages, there's literally no reason for anybody not to have a landing page at the end of week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I'm like, look, even if you keep their images and just change the text, the person you send it to doesn't know their images. They think, oh wow, this is a really professional page. They're serious about what they're selling.
So okay, so because I don't know if others have websites already like I do, but for me, you know, since I already have a website, is there a wrong or right way to do the website in order to get the kind of generation that you're talking about? Like, I'll just my website is kwmccabe.org.
All right, hold on, I'm gonna go there.
Two C's.
All right. Okay. So here you want a tough love moment?
Yeah, go ahead.
So give me the name of any leading sci-fi author or publisher that you know of. Do you know their website?
Michelle Segarra West.
Is it spelled like cigar?
No, Sagara.
Is her?
Oh, hold on. Yeah, that's her.
So if you didn't know you and you knew her, Who would you think is the more established author of the two?
Her.
All right. And here's why I say that. And so that's why I said it's a tough love moment, right? So A on the plus side, you have the skills to build the site, which is great. But what I try to tell people is take yourself out of it. And another thing I said, and why I said it's a tough love moment, I said this too, and hopefully when people watch this replay, they'll get that as well. I said this in the workshop, is that some people confuse hard work with execution, right? And that's why I said it's a tough love moment, because there's no doubt in my mind you worked hard to put this together. But if it's not giving you the desired raw results, then we got to look at the execution, right? Okay. So for you, my endeavor, right, is to make sure that anything you do, like I said, I shouldn't be able to tell whether you're a single person doing this by yourself or you're, Michelle Segura West who has a team, right? Now hers is not phenomenal, but at a minimum, as soon as I go there, I mean, I know she's an author. I know she has books. I know where I can buy them. So for you, what I would say to you is, I mean, some are free, but I would even go, so I would go to, a site called themeforest.net, and I would go into the WordPress section, and I would start looking at themes. Because literally, because you know how to do it, within a half an hour, you could get a theme. And people wouldn't be able to tell the difference between you and Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
So, and that's that's my point. So, and the reason why I say that is because, let me tell you, one of my weaknesses is I have no graphic ability whatsoever. So I'm always looking at what tool I can use to emulate, making my things look professional. Because you never want people, because remember, usually put yourself, all right, let's put yourself in the shoes of a consumer. And I want anybody listening to you to think about this. If you were buying something for your child, would you buy online? Would you buy it from the site you went to that's clean and look like it's established, or the site it looks like it's like one person in the room packing it in their kitchen, right? It could be the same. Listen, I mean, think about it. It could be the same product, but your confidence level would go down because you would assume they're not doing all the steps correctly. So my point to people is, make sure your visual representation takes that away, right? And that's what I mean. It's not even that you have to be significantly graphically inclined, because there's so many tools out there. Like if I put, I don't know if I put in here bookstore. So let's see if something comes up. So here, look. So here's one. So right, both of these are themes. So if I click in here, and this is a book media store, right? Now this may not be the aesthetic you want, but I just picked an example. But let's look at the live preview.
Okay.
Now look at that store, right? Now if you came here, you'd be like, wow, this store must be, now literally this could be you in your kitchen selling products for $59. So that's my point. Like, you always want to make sure that you can, and as you know, with these themes, you get options to do it. How you can be as creative as you want within that paradigm. But it's helpful.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, we should always hold ourselves to the consumer standard. Like if you weren't you and you came to your site, would I buy from you? And here's the other challenge I say with your site is that, albeit it looks like you're giving me great information, I don't see anywhere where I can buy your stuff.
Okay.
So now if I really endeavor, I could click on store, but at the end of the day, people's attention span on the internet is really, really low. And it's all about what your goal is. Like, is your goal to write content, or is your goal to sell books, right? So, one of the reasons, and to your question, because you have a little more knowledge than most, is that when you look at like WordPress versus Shopify, the reason why I show Shopify to people, because if your goal is to sell stuff, There's
Mm-hmm.
more tools there. But if you already had a big content library, then you can integrate into WordPress. But if you didn't, then let's focus on the selling. Because, for example, with Shopify, you'll be able to have a store on Facebook. You'll be able to sell over Twitter. You'll be able to sell over Pinterest. So those are all the different things you weigh out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, got me.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
So
I never thought, because like when I watched the thing about watching product walkthroughs, I was like, I don't even know, like, there's not really a product walkthrough that I could find for my area. But then when you looked up told me for us to look up authors, that I think is probably something that I need to go do now, like look up a whole bunch of other authors and see what their websites look like, and then try and mimic that.
Yeah, and when I say product walkthroughs, I'm basically saying, look, I'm telling you that you could use these services to do certain things, and then I create separate videos to show you how to do those things in that service, right? Because I'm not assuming that anyone already knows how to do them, and that helps you accelerate. So, like, to your point, so it's not even that Entre Pages is necessarily hard, but if you watch that video, you'll know how to quickly go in there and customize your own landing page and test it out, right? And you could do that. Like, you don't even have to touch your site. Like, you could literally do, and that's why I said I didn't even care about the URL. Like, you could literally do that and send it out to your email list, and like if you're thinking about another book, or if you're like, hey, just wanted to let you guys know about this book, because I would argue that looking at your site that the audience you have doesn't even know about all your books, right? Because they're not evident or out there, and you need to charge some more money for these books.
Okay.
If you're gonna put the time and effort. I mean, again, that's why you should look at the other thing we do, and I'm always learning. I heard this in the podcast. I talked about that today, is that about pricing products, is sometimes we think when we're starting, the only way that we can sell things is if we make them dirt cheap. But at the end of the day, you don't buy dirt cheap stuff for that very same reason. That's what I mean. Like, put yourself in the like, if you put time and effort in it and you believe it's good, if you don't know it's good, then create a campaign and get it in front of people's hands and let them tell you whether it's good or not.
Okay.
Right? Because, and that's where it's less about us having our feelings hurt because of the work, but we want to know, if you want to, at the end of the day, like I said, the goal of a business is to build something that creates enough income so you have abundance, right? It's not about people stroking your ego. So you want to know if something you're writing doesn't appeal to people, because you don't want to keep writing it. Or you want to know that, hey, it's not as clear. So to a certain degree, like I saw one of these on here that it's free, then create a campaign when we start going through the Facebook stuff, say, hey, I'm a writer. This is going to be my passion. Here's my first book. I want to give it to you if you'll commit to tell me how you feel about it. And you'd be surprised. People will read your book and tell you how you feel about it. Right? And that's the equivalent of what big companies do with focus groups, etc. So if you can use the internet to find a targeted group of people who like your genre and who can tell you whether it's good or not, that's valuable advice. And then once you take that value, and then to your point, once you have that confidence that, hey, yes, I'm ready to rock, then you can launch another campaign selling it. Because remember, we're talking billions of people. You ain't gonna run into the same people.
Okay. Alrighty.
So yes, I think it's let me see. I see Clara's on. Let me see if she has a question. All right, so we have a couple more minutes. Any questions? Any more questions you can think of?
I where I got stuck was, I haven't gotten past the Entre Pages yet, but I went, after watching your first conference, I went on Facebook and tried to find the area of campaigns where you can, like that you were talking about, and I couldn't find it.
Which one are you talking about? Say it again.
The one where you can create campaigns and see what's going on with them and all of that, and you said not to use the boost button.
Oh, so you're trying to jump ahead. See, this is exactly why I don't release the courses ahead of time. You're trying to be an overachiever. We're gonna walk through that. But yeah, you have to create a business.facebook account, and it's in their new ad tool called the Power Editor. So, do you have a Facebook page?
Yeah.
So as part of that Facebook page, you'll connect that to the Power Editor in business.facebook.com, and then you'll have audience insights. So at a minimum, here, I'll show you real quick. So that'll be, let's do that real quick for me. So let me go to mine. So if I go on Power Editor here, you jump in the gun. I need you to focus on getting these pages right first. You start trying to run campaigns. So here we go.
My assignment is to fix my website.
Yeah, see? So, it's so slow. My computer's slow. Let me stop. So, yeah, I think my computer. Take it forever to hit. All right, what was I showing? So show you. My computer's done. All right, so what were you looking for? Let me know what so I can.
I guess this was what I was looking for. I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah, so and they said they're doing upgrades. I don't know why they're attacking weird, but so basically, when you go to business.facebook.com, which we will walk through in a later module.
Okay.
So you'll be able to connect your Facebook page to this, and then create an ads account, and then you'll be able to run ads. You'll be able to run ads through here. So, what if and then you'll be able to run ads. You'll be able to set pixels on your pages, so you'll be able to track people who click through. You'll be able to create. So all of these are custom audiences that I've created for different clients based on different metrics. But like if I said, I'll show you that really quickly. If I said, I'm going to create a custom audience, it'll ask me based on my customer list, so I can upload emails, phone numbers, anything from Facebook based on my website traffic, people who view certain pages, if I have an app, my app activity. So if I go to website traffic, I can do it based on anybody who visits the site, anybody who visits specific pages, any custom combination. Now, if I go to ads and I create a new campaign, this is where I was showing you guys the different objectives. So whether you want people to click on your website, whether you want to generate emails for leads, if you're a local business, you do local awareness. If you just increase page likes to your page, increase, engagement on the page. So this is their equivalent of Boost Post. The challenge of Boost Post is that if you do it on its own, there's no way to build an audience from it, and there's no way to get real reporting from it. So that's their low-level way. So you're not building audience, you're not getting a desired result. You're just putting your content in front of more people. Whereas if I would do clicks to website because you want them to click through to your book, or you want them to click through to an event you're having, right? The Boost Post just puts that post in front of more people. It doesn't guarantee they're going to click on it. So you're just paying for more people to see it. Where these also have specific, specific end games that you're tracking, and you'll get to see that in here. So like I said, you create that. If I did test, and if I said choose an ad set, I do a new test ad set, and I hit create. And then I can go, the ad set is where you track your budget, but then it's also where you build your audience. So let's say for you, really quickly, if I said I could choose one of those existing audiences I have and target them, or I can say everybody in the United States and see if let me see, science fiction. Oops. I pick that as an interest. And if remember I said look at other sites. So if there's other Facebook pages that are on Facebook that cater to that audience, I could target them too. So like if I did sci-fi, I could target people, sci-fi channel. I could target people who like the sci-fi channel. Anything you can target those people to see your content, and then you pick where they see it. If you're running on Instagram, desktop feed, etc., you can say on mobile only, on certain mobile devices. But then it shows you how many people for that. I left it at $20, I think. For $20, this is how many people would estimate you'd reach on Facebook a day. And then you'd run those ads, and then once they clicked on it, they become a custom audience, and then you'd run a different ad because they've shown you they have interest. Hey, I saw you were on my site. Here's a discount for my book. Here's buy one, get one free on my book. Here's a webinar I'm going to do talking about science fiction. Here's a Facebook group I want you to join about science fiction novels. Any of that stuff is valuable.
Okay.
So see, you'll appreciate this next week when other people are on. You only get 1 or 2 questions in. So good. I hope you got
Oh no, I know. I appreciate it.
So I think next week what I'm going to do is I'm going to try an evening, but I'll do an evening. It'll probably be like 9, so that like you guys at least it'll be 6 o'clock in the West Coast. But I'll send that out as soon as we hang up, and the rest of Module 2 will be up this week, and Module 3. So you can go as far as that, which will give you a lot of the stuff we talked about today.
Okay.
All righty.
All right. Thank you so much.
No problem. Talk to you soon.
All right.